Hey there, these are some of my favorite really basic exercises for improving core strength and your balance and stability in the saddle that you can do wherever, whenever, at any level. I'm going to show you a couple different variations that change or increase the difficulty. So right now I'm just on a sofa, but you could also use a hard chair. Less cushy is more stable, and that actually allows you to feel your seat bones better, which you can also do pretty well on the floor. But depending on your level of comfort or flexibility and all those things and your level of strength, starting out in a chair may be better. And so first off, I just like to sit, and what you want to do is get your knees at a 90-degree angle. You don't want to be too crunched up, and you don't want to be too high up, right? I'm short, so I need something low. Somebody else, you might do okay with a tall chair, but find something that's appropriate. An office chair can work. Just put it on something that doesn't move, and then lock your reclining thing so that you don't send yourself going backwards. But all kinds of things can work. I'm going to show you a ball too. And with the ball, it's just really important that you also get the right size for your height, because if you are short like me, you don't want the 65 centimeter ball, which is standard a lot of places. It's going to be too tall for you. So make sure you get the right size apparatus for your height. And the first thing I want to do is just sit here and see if I can feel my seat bones evenly pressing down. And that's why having a harder surface is nicer. The other thing that you can do if you have a chair that's got padding or sofa or whatever is if you have a yoga block, you could use that underneath your butt bones, and then you feel them because those are a little bit stiffer. But I want to see, can I feel my seat bones evenly? Most of us are going to be a little uneven. So then what do I have to do to make myself even? And a lot of times, this is a problem that we see in the saddle, right? Is that mostly everybody wants to sort of collapse the right side. Well, one of my coaches used to say, ski off the inside rein, and then sort of twist, tilt, whatever. We all do a little bit different thing, but this is the basic positioning, right? So I'm exaggerating it. For some of you, maybe not, but I'm exaggerating it because I want to feel what happens. And I can tell you right now, my left seat bone feels more weighted. My right hip flexor adductors feel contracted because they're wanting to pull my right leg up. So how do I fix that? And what a lot of people assume when your instructor tells you step down in the right stirrup, like step down on that side, is that you need to throw your whole weight over. And so normally it looks either something like this or something like this. And so I'm weighting my right seat bone a little bit more, but I've also got a whole bunch of other things out of whack. So when you're just sitting in a chair or sitting on the ball or sitting on the floor, practice, and you can do this while you're at work or watching TV or whatever. People don't have to know what you're doing because it's such a small motion that you just go, how do I play with those muscles, and how do I get them even? How do I get my hips to feel even? How do I get my quadriceps muscles, the big muscles in the front of your thighs and your hips? How do you get those muscles to feel like They're all sort of there. They're supporting, but they're relaxed. That feeling of tensegrity. They're not loose. They're not flexed. They're just holding, even though I don't like the word holding. But they're just supporting you. Supporting is probably a better word than hold. Maybe that's what I'll change my vocabulary to. You guys can hold me to that. So we're supporting our weight with the tensegrity of these muscles. And if you've ever done yoga or Pilates, you learn how to hold that position and be able to breathe. So that's the other thing I want you to practice is breathing. And you don't have to get fancy about it. You can do the thing where you put one hand on your belly and one hand on your back right now. I got a little left frozen shoulder, so going behind my back with the left is not good. Which is funny, right? My instinct, even though I know that this shoulder is not great right now, my body's instinct was still to send it to the bad place. That's just how strong our movement patterns are once we've developed them. And you really have to be conscious about creating new ones, creating new movement patterns. So you can do the thing. A lot of people have seen this. You put one hand on your belly button, one hand on your low back, and try to breathe out. So your hands expand. It's pretty good, but I also like people to feel like you're expanding this way. Like you want to feel like your whole body is expanding. And also for women in particular, I just can't say for men because I don't know. You want to feel like you're pushing your pelvic floor down when you inhale. And you're sucking it up when you exhale. And that is counterintuitive to a lot of things that we do and a lot of how we use our body when we're working out. There is a pelvic floor physio named Kim Vopni, and she teaches these really good breathing techniques for women of a certain age, and also if you've had children or if you've had any pelvic issues, pelvic floor problems, internal female organ issues, whatever, it's really great to learn how to breathe. Inhale down, exhale, draw it up. So as you do that, and most of us don't breathe enough anyway, we don't breathe well enough day by day. So doing a little extra breathing, 5 breaths while you sit there and try to work out what your butt bones are doing, because probably you'll start to hold your breath while you're trying to figure it out. Then remember to breathe. It's good for all of us. And so that might not seem like you're doing a lot, but you're actually connecting your brain to these smaller muscles that fire in here and do a lot of important things. We all think about the big muscles when we want to work out and we want to get fit. But those are not the muscles that you really need to be in touch with and be strong for riding. So once I've got my sit bones where I feel like I'm pretty even and I'm sitting level, most of us also like to have our shoulders off. I'm sure I am probably really off in the shoulder right now because this one is halfway frozen. But once I get there, I like to do some breathing with some pelvic tilts. So I breathe in, pushing everything down and sort of pushing my butt back, my stomach out this way. And then I inhale or I exhale and roll it all back. So you inhale, open, exhale, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. And if you followed me at all, you know that I love to talk about breathing into your transitions, right? Inhale, open, go forward. Exhale, close, slow down. It can all make sense to your brain. Okay? So, do a few of those. Then I want to see if I can't just lift, float a foot, and then lower it down, and then float the other foot, and then lower it down. And I'm doing this slow on purpose. The idea is not to do this super fast. The idea is to do it slow enough that you can feel what happens with your seat bones underneath you and how your hips activate and what you might do differently on each side. So there is a method to my madness of going slow. And so you maybe do this for 10 to 15 seconds to start, and then you can build it up to like 30 or even a minute. But I really want you to be able to pay attention to what's happening in your body. All of these exercises also can transfer to the saddle. Once you're proficient at them sitting, don't just jump on your horse and start doing them because it's going to be harder. So after we do that, then I want to lift a toe. So I'm going to point my toe down. And then I'm going to set my foot down flat. And then I'm going to lift up and I'm going to point my toe down. And then I'm going to sit my foot down flat. And then I'm going to point my toe down. And then I'm going to set my foot down flat. And you can either set a timer for this or count. I like to set a timer, again, 15, 30 seconds, and then bump it up when you feel comfortable. What's really interesting and why I like to do this is because it's a coordination thing. You'll notice, especially when I first started, that I had to really concentrate on pointing my toe down as I lifted my leg up. And I always have to concentrate more on my right side doing that than on my left. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. My body thinks, well, if you're going up, you should be like this. And that is probably something, a movement pattern that I have also adapted in the saddle, right? Heels down, all right? So this is just teaching my body that I can do different things. I can go up and down with two different parts. It's really important to learn those skills out of the saddle because when we're in the saddle, it's very hard sometimes for us to do that. I see a lot of riders when I say, the horse with your, lower right leg, and then like their whole leg goes, or their left leg goes too. It's very important to learn how to move your parts independently. Okay. So those are some great stability exercises. And then as you get stronger and as you feel confident, first I want you to do this with your hands on your chair, your couch, wherever you're sitting, your coffee table, I don't care. And I want you to be even on your butt bones again. You're going to put your hands down. We don't want to hurt any backs or do anything weird. And then just lift your feet, both your feet. You don't have to lift them high. You can just, again, float them. If that feels really hard, put your toes down. You can start by just leaning back until you feel like you need to hold yourself up. And for some people, that's enough in the beginning. You're going to feel a pull here in your hip flexors and your psoas and your abdominals. So let that pull. Just feel it. Again, count. Give yourself some hold time. 5 to 15 seconds, whatever you're comfortable with. Relax and come back up. While you're holding, don't hold your breath. Go back into it. If you float your feet, cool, but breathe. And in the same way, when we breathe in, we open. When we breathe out, we close. Now, when it feels okay, you can practice lifting up your hands. Don't go starch right off the bat, because that's going to be hard. And what you don't want to do in this exercise is you do not want to arch your back too much. Like, you don't want to be here. You want to have this nice neutral spine. I can show it to you better on the ball and on the floor when I can get a different angle on the camera. But you want to be able to keep your back pretty flat. So you're a little bit tucking your pubic bone under, like you're bringing it this way a bit. Start really slow and really small increments, because these exercises work more than you think they do. And even though they don't seem hard, they are taxing on the body. So start with small increments. If you feel like you want to do them multiple times a day, I would do them one time, one day, and see how it feels. And then maybe if you don't feel stiff and the next day, you could try it twice that day. And then maybe 3 times. And then you can build it and do as many times a day as you want once you feel like you're comfortable doing it. But we don't want you to get too sore. We don't want you to feel stiff. We don't want you to feel like, that was painful, I don't want to do it again. Okay, so those, again, my favorites. Just sitting here, figuring out where the weight is on my seat bones, how to adjust them. It's number 1. Get on my seat bones evenly and get them adjusted. 2 is breathing. Expanding everywhere, down, out, side to side on the inhale. And then sucking it all up on the exhale. And then lifting one foot, letting it float for a few seconds, back down, floating the other foot for a few seconds, and noticing how your hips and your seat bones react to this. Putting it down. Then we're going to do up, but point my toe. And you can do it either lifting straight up and then point down, or you can roll your toe up. Whatever is easier for you. It's so hard for me on that side. It's so funny. Okay, so I'll have to practice that one more. And then this is a boat pose in yoga. It's a modified boat pose, right? And if you feel really good here, you could even get fancy. If you could go out with your arms, you could get fancy and do some toe touches. You could also bring your legs out and do that. Whatever. Some of you are going to be able to sit in a V right off the bat. Some of you are not going to be able to lift your feet up off the floor. We are all different. No judging. We're just aware. Like, I'm aware that for whatever reason, it's really hard to point my right toe when I lift my hip flexor up. Not on my left side, but on my right side. So, that's just the way it is. We're aware of it. We're not judging it.